Hey guys, it's Merce. Welcome back to Harpies in the Trees. Today I'm going to be talking about perfectly preventable deaths. I read this book a couple weeks ago and I fell in love with it completely. It was pretty interesting and surprising. So I wanted to review it and just talk a little bit about what it is about and just a few details about it. No spoilers or anything like that. If you haven't heard of Perfectly Preventable Deaths by Deirdre Sullivan, I wouldn't be too surprised, only because I just found it at Dussmann's bookstore here in Berlin. It was just sitting on a table, there was one left, and I was just really intrigued by the cover. It just kind of spoke to me. I picked it up and the synopsis sounded nice, and it sounded like Bones in the Mountains, Magic in the Blood. I thought it was gonna be a coming-of-age tale with some magic elements. And I wasn't far off, but it was much more than that. Maddie and Caitlin are 16 years old. They are twins, but they are very different from each other. Caitlin is your typical popular girl. People seem to flock to her and are just really intrigued and mesmerized by who she is and just love giving her attention and hanging out with her and just being around her. She's just a flower that just attracts the sunlight just naturally. Maddie is different. She's more reserved, she's an overthinker, she's quiet, she's a little bit awkward, she's more of a wallflower. She doesn't find it to be exactly hindering or something that comes between her and her sister, but it is something that she observes very well and very keenly about how people react with her sister, just how the world seems to open up more to her than it does for Maddie. But this doesn't mar anything about how she feels about her sister. She loves her unconditionally. They're very, very close. They have their own type of humor about the way they speak, which is really fun and playful. And I was chuckling to myself a few times about some of their jokes that they were talking about. So they have a very good relationship. We learn early on in the first few pages of the book that Maddie and Caitlin's father died somewhere in the woods, and they've been without him for a while now. So by the time we come to meet Maddie when they're 16, they are now moving to a old, beautiful Irish castle that belongs to their mom's new husband, Brian. Caitlin likes to refer to this castle as the Murder Palace, just because it has battlements and it's obviously seen its time in wars and people have definitely been killed there. This castle is located in a really tiny village called Ballyfran, and this castle also comes with one occupant, and it comes with a woman named Mame. I think it's pronounced Mame, I'm not sure. And Mame is an older woman who, she's very surly. She doesn't talk very much. She's very into gardening. She lives in a hut behind the castle. She seems to have a friendship of some sort with a crow. She has a deal with Brian to live in the hut and also to use the kitchen and the bathroom as she needs to. And Maddie especially finds this very bizarre, and she finds the woman to be very weird and makes her very uncomfortable. And when Maddie becomes uncomfortable, she has a ritual or a type of safeguard that she does. She carries salt. She carries salt in packets in her pocket. She has boxes of salt. Salt is something that keeps her feeling safe. She will, put salt underneath her mother's bed or her sister's bed, and it's something that makes her mother, Sheila, very uncomfortable. She does not like it. She thinks it's extremely unhealthy. I think that there is a point where they talk about that Maddie had seen counseling for that, and maybe there's medications for this. And I assume that Sheila is thinking that Maddie has some kind of OCD or something, and she's just not comfortable about it at all. And interestingly enough, Caitlin also has her own ritual of staying calm and safe and just feeling overall comfortable. And that is with the statues of Madonnas. So she has like, you know, just piles of statues of Madonnas with candles and roses and all kinds of stuff in her room in a type of shrine. But her mom doesn't really see this as an issue at all. It's not a big deal to her, probably because, you know, the concept of the Madonna is, you know, religious and not considered to be one that would be horrible if you had an obsession with, maybe? I'm not sure. But this contention between the two sisters and their rituals of being able to feel comfortable does add tension into the relationship between her and her sister, and of course between Maddie and her mom, because she's like, you can accept, you know, Caitlin's Madonna obsession, but my, you know, using salt is something that really makes you uncomfortable, and you know, I don't understand. So it's an interesting thing, because I think when you're growing up, there are things that your parents just don't understand about you, and they kind of refuse to understand about you, and then that is something that can cause some hurt to your relationship. So in like all things, because of the way Caitlin is, she's just kind of able to do whatever she wants, basically. She gets away with murder, and she, you know, she's just able to maneuver the world in a way that Madeline is not. And, you know, that is pretty difficult for Madeline at times. So when they move to this castle together, their stepdad Brian, he's gone like a week at a time for business, not even really sure what kind of business it was. And the girls are, you know, just left at home with their mom, and they're just going to school. They go to a high school that has like, has like 10 people or something. It's like super, super small. And this is not fun for Caitlin, because she likes a big audience and she likes to have, you know, a lot of friends, and this is very small town for her. And Madeline is feeling a little bit more comfortable because it is smaller, it's a smaller social situation that she's able to deal with a little better. But then Caitlin meets this dude Lon, who is sort of a strange figure because he's dressed like a 1950s like Fonz type, which Madeline is like, that's just so weird, like, and cheesy, you know. But Lon and Caitlin get along really, really well. And Madeline also meets a friend. She meets a girl named Una, who's actually from France and has moved to Valleyfront as well, and they become very close and good friends. So this is really interesting, especially for Madeline, because she wasn't expecting to meet anyone to become friends with at all. And Lon and Caitlin are becoming more and more and more and more disturbingly close. Coming into Valleyfront changes their lives completely in ways that they had never expected, and also, strangely enough, it affects what they know of themselves and of the past and different things like that. So Valleyfront brings love, it brings pain, it brings magic and cruelty. This is obviously a coming of age tale, like we thought. And so, you know, it's exploring love and also going from childhood into adulthood, but it has these elements of witchcraft and fantasy, gothic horror, and a little tiny bit of fairy tale in there. It all takes place in modern day Ireland as well. The dialogue between Brian and Sheila, which are the parents, and Madeline and Caitlin, is really good. It really captures these passionate adolescent arguments that you would have with your parents when you were that age. But it also captures, you know, these nuances of, like, they have a stepfather who's really trying hard not to overstep his bounds, and then they have their mom who is just like, she has blind spots. You know, she has blind spots with Caitlin, she has blind spots with Madeline. She's not seeing the complete picture a lot of the time because of her own biases or fears that she has. The twins also have this really playful conversation, which is fun because they're joking around with each other. You start to get an idea of how they communicate. And obviously they've been communicating in a very kind of special vernacular together for a while, so you can kind of sense that, and it's really funny and entertaining. A few cool things about the book is that each chapter has a plant or an herb, say primrose, for instance, and it'll say tea for frenzy, leaves for wounds. And I do think that each of these elements had something to do with the chapter, but I couldn't always figure it out. But every single chapter has a different plant or a different herb with its properties, which is really cool. There are 2 instances of animal cruelty in the book. They are very short, so I just wanted to warn you about that. Definitely is a part of the story. It's there for a very good reason. So I didn't have a problem with it, and I don't. I don't like reading that kind of stuff at all. You see this cover and it seems very cute. Actually, like this to me looks very cute. It's very deceiving because it's not cute. It's really intense. The back of the book here had the Dusman's book sticker, like for the price tag on the back. And it was coming off, so I had just peeled it off, and they have like, Hockey's Books has this really cool diagram here, and it says what's in it. And it's like sisters, sacrifice, and witchcraft, and I was like, huh, I kind of like that. I wish that was like on more books that just kind of give you like a little bit of a kernel about what's going to be in each book, but I hadn't seen it, so I didn't really think it was going to be straight up, witchcraft. And I am excited to read the next book that Sullivan does. I don't really know she wrote anything else. She's written a lot, actually. So in conclusion, 4 stars, intriguing, dark, lovely, unexpected, just way darker than I thought it was going to be, which is always a good thing for me. It's so messed up. Just really messed up. So that's it for me. I'll stop dragging on here. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I hope you guys are having a really great week and everything is going super well for you. I'll talk to you next time.